My phone started going crazy with messages while I was sleeping in my hotel room overseas. My older sister Jessica had just kicked down the door to what she thought was still my apartment. She sent me a picture of herself lounging on the couch with her 3 loud kids running around everywhere. The message said, "Thanks for the free place, little sis. Mom said you've been selfish long enough. Time to help family." But here's the thing nobody knew. I hadn't lived there for almost a month. And the person who lived there now, let's just say he carries handcuffs for a living. Before I tell you what happens when a federal agent walks into his own home and finds strangers eating his food, answer me this. If someone in your family stole from you and then blamed you for it, would you save them? Or would you let them learn the hard way? Drop your answer below because what I did next changed everything. My name is Sarah and I'm 30 years old. I work as a computer security expert for big companies. Basically, I get paid a ton of money to find problems before they become disasters. I look at computer systems and find the weak spots that bad guys might use. For my whole life, the biggest weak spot has always been my sister Jessica. She's 35 and has never paid for anything herself. Not her car. Not her kids' toys. Not even her phone. Everything comes from mom and dad. Or from me. I was sitting in London drinking coffee at 3 in the morning because of the time difference when I opened my laptop. The security cameras I had installed were still working perfectly. And what I saw made me smile. Jessica was standing outside the apartment with a big hammer in her hand. She was about to smash the lock. She had boxes and bags everywhere. Her kids were sitting on the floor in the hallway looking bored. She honestly believed that apartment was mine and that she could just take it. But I had moved out 19 days ago. I didn't tell anyone. Not mom. Not dad. Not Jessica. Nobody. Jessica kept texting me. "Open this door right now or I'm breaking it. I know you can see these messages. Stop being a brat." I thought about it for exactly 10 seconds. Then I did something that would either be brilliant or get me in serious trouble. I texted back, "Fine. You win. The code is 7-7-3-8. But you need to promise me you'll clean up any mess you make." She wrote back instantly with a laughing emoji. "Don't worry. I'll take care of your junk. It's about time you helped me for once." I opened my building security app on my laptop. I watched the little light on the door change from red to green when she typed in those numbers. As soon as the door opened, I clicked on the settings. I changed her access code from family guest to cleaning service worker. A box popped up on my screen asking if I agreed to the cleaning company rules. Clicked yes. By doing that, I just made Jessica agree to a contract without her even knowing it. In that contract, it said she was only there to clean. She wasn't allowed to stay. She wasn't allowed to take anything. And if she tried, well, that would be stealing. On my screen, I watched Jessica march into that apartment like she owned it. She threw her bags on the floor. Her kids jumped on the furniture. She immediately started pulling down the curtains and throwing them in the trash. She was yelling at her kids. "This is ours now. Aunt Sarah has too much anyway." I opened another window on my computer. This one showed a map. There was a black dot moving along the highway. That dot was Special Agent Michael Torres. He worked for the U.S. Marshals Service. That means he catches dangerous criminals for a living. He was heading home after a long day at work. He would be there in about 35 minutes. Agent Torres had no idea that someone was in his home. I could have warned Jessica. I could have called her. But I didn't. Because for years, every time Jessica did something wrong, I was the one who got blamed. When she crashed my car, Mom said it was my fault for leaving the keys out. When she stole money from my wallet, Dad said I was being greedy for not sharing. When she lied to my boss and almost got me fired, they said I should forgive her because family is forever. Well, I was tired of being the person who always got hurt. Agent Torres pulled into the parking garage right on time. I watched him on the camera as he got out of his car. He walked like someone who was ready for anything. His hand stayed close to his belt where he kept his gun. He noticed something was wrong the second he got off the elevator. The door to his apartment was open just a little bit. He didn't knock. He didn't yell hello. He pulled out his gun and went inside silently. This man had been trained to catch criminals. And right now, Jessica and her kids looked like criminals. Inside, Jessica was trying to take a painting off the wall. She wanted it for her own house. She had no idea someone was behind her. Agent Torres moved so fast it was like watching a movie. 1 second Jessica was standing. The next second she was on the floor with her arm twisted behind her back. He had his knee on her back and his gun pointed at the hallway. "Federal agent, don't move." His voice was loud and scary. Jessica started screaming like I had never heard before. "Get off me. This is my sister's place. You can't do this." Agent Torres didn't let her go. "You broke into a federal officer's home. Tell me your name right now." Jessica was crying and yelling at the same time. "Jessica. Jessica Cooper. Call my sister Sarah. She'll tell you." I took a sip of my coffee and watched. This was the first time in Jessica's entire life that crying didn't fix her problems. But then something happened that I didn't expect. The elevator doors opened again. My parents, Linda and Robert, came running down the hallway. They must have been waiting downstairs to help Jessica move in. When they saw Jessica on the floor with a man holding a gun, they didn't ask questions. They just started screaming. "Get your hands off her," my dad shouted. He ran toward Agent Torres like he was going to fight him. Agent Torres turned his gun toward my dad. "Stop right there. U.S. Marshal. Back away now." My mom, Linda, looked at the whole scene and did what she always does. She started crying and pulled out her phone. But she didn't call for help in a normal way. She called 911 and lied. "My daughter is being attacked. There's a man with a gun. He's hurting her for no reason. Please send help." Then she looked directly at the camera on the wall. She knew I was watching. "Sarah, you did this. You evil girl. You set up your own sister. You wanted her to get hurt." My mom didn't stop there. She called a second number. I recognized it immediately. It was the emergency line for my job. "I need to report someone who works for you," she said, fake crying into the phone. "Sarah Cooper just tried to get her sister killed on purpose. She's dangerous. She needs to be fired and investigated." Agent Torres looked confused now. He kept Jessica on the ground, but he looked up at the camera. He was starting to realize this wasn't just a simple break-in. This was a trap. And I was the one who set it. The police sirens were getting louder outside. In a few minutes, this whole thing was going to get a lot more complicated. 3 police cars showed up within 5 minutes. Officers rushed into the apartment with their hands on their guns. Everything was chaos. Agent Torres was pulled to the side by a police sergeant who looked tired. My parents were in the corner with my mom crying to a young police officer. Jessica stopped crying the instant she realized the police were there. She sat up, fixed her hair, and reached into her big purse like nothing had happened. "That man attacked me for no reason," she told the officer sweetly. "I'm allowed to be here. I'm a tenant." The sergeant looked at Agent Torres. "Sir, if she's a resident here, you can't just throw her on the floor like that." Agent Torres looked angry. "She is not a resident. I moved in here 3 weeks ago. I have all the paperwork." Jessica smiled. "So do I." She pulled out a piece of paper from her purse and handed it to the officer. It was a rental agreement. It had the apartment address on it. It said she paid $1,800 per month. And at the bottom, there was a signature that said, "Sarah Cooper." My signature. Except I never signed that paper. "My sister rented this place to me," Jessica said, pointing at the paper. "I paid her for 6 whole months in cash. I have rights. You can't just kick me out without telling me 30 days before. That's the law." The sergeant read the paper and then looked at Agent Torres with tired eyes. "Sir, the law in this city is very strict. If she has a signed rental agreement, even if you think it's fake, this is not a police matter. This is something for the courts. We can't arrest someone for being in their own home." Agent Torres's face turned red. He looked at the TV on the wall. My face was now showing on the screen through the video call. "You didn't tell me your sister was a professional liar," he said to me angrily. "Get her out of here or I'm going to arrest you for lying to me." My parents smiled. Not a big smile. Just a small one. They thought they had won. They thought their plan had worked. In their minds, Jessica could now stay in the apartment. She would refuse to leave. And I would get blamed for all of it. For a moment nobody said anything. The police started to put their guns away. They were getting ready to leave. "Wait," I said. My voice came through the apartment speakers loud and clear. "Officer, before you leave, I need you to check something. Look at the computer log that shows what time she came in." Everyone stopped and turned to look at the TV screen where my face was. "Who are you?" the sergeant asked. "I'm the person who owns this property," I said calmly. "And I'm the person who gave my sister the code to get in. Officer, please go to the keypad by the door. Look at the entry record for today. It should say 2:14 in the afternoon." The sergeant walked over to the keypad and touched the screen. "Entry recorded," he read out loud. "User code 7738. "Exactly," I said. "Now please ask Jessica what the screen said when she typed in that code." Jessica stood up quickly, holding her fake rental paper. "It didn't say anything. Just beeped and opened. It was just a normal door code." "That's a lie," I said calmly. "And I can prove it." I pressed a button on my computer. On the TV in the apartment, a picture of a contract appeared. "Code 7738 is not a normal resident code," I explained. "It's a code for workers, like cleaning people or repair people." When she typed it in, the screen showed a contract. To open the door, she had to accept it. The sergeant read the words on the screen out loud. "Service worker agreement and rules." "By accepting," I continued, "she legally said she was a cleaning worker, not someone who lives there. That means she has no rights to stay. She's only allowed to be there for less than 24 hours to clean up." "That's it," Jessica screamed. "I didn't read that. I just pressed the button." "Not reading a contract doesn't mean you didn't agree to it," I replied. "And the contract says that if you try to take things, that's stealing. And if you refuse to leave, that's trespassing." The sergeant compared the fake rental paper to the computer record. Paper versus computer proof. The paper lost. "If she came in as a worker," he said slowly, "then she's not a squatter." Agent Torres finished the sentence. "She's a worker refusing to leave my property. And she's trying to steal my furniture. Also," I added, "check her yellow bag. The big one." The room went silent. Everyone looked at Jessica's yellow bag. "What?" Jessica said, backing away. "There's nothing bad in there." The officer opened the bag. Inside were clothes, some bottles of expensive wine, and a small black box. "I was just borrowing those," Jessica said quickly. "The wine was sitting there." "That black box was in a locked safe," I said through the speakers. "She broke it open." Agent Torres looked at the box and his eyes went wide. "That's a secure hard drive," he said. "It's locked with my fingerprint." I spoke clearly. "Officer, that drive contains private information about my work clients. Some of them are government officials. Taking that is not just stealing. It's a serious crime." The officer reached for his handcuffs. "This is now a felony investigation," Agent Torres said. Jessica's face went white. "I didn't know. I thought it was just a regular thing." The officer didn't care. He started reading Jessica her rights. "You have the right to remain silent." My mother tried to run forward. "You can't do this. Sarah set her up. You drove her here," I said coldly through the speakers. "You used the access code too. You helped her. That makes you part of the crime too." My mom stopped instantly. Her face changed. She wasn't thinking about Jessica anymore. She was thinking about herself. "We didn't know," she said, stepping back from Jessica. "We thought Sarah gave her permission." Jessica looked at Mom with shock and hurt. Mom, you're leaving me. But Mom didn't answer. She just kept stepping back. Dad did the same thing. When they realized they might go to jail too, they chose themselves over Jessica. The officer put handcuffs on Jessica and started walking her toward the door. She was crying for real now. Not fake tears. Real ones. Later that night, Agent Torres called me. The hard drive was empty, he said. There was nothing on it. Smiled. I know. I put it there on purpose. It was a trap. In my job we call that a honeypot. It's something that looks valuable so you can catch people trying to steal. He was quiet for a moment. Then he laughed. You set up your own sister. She's been stealing from me my whole life, I said. And my parents always made me apologize. I was tired of it. Agent Torres told me that Jessica was charged with breaking and entering, attempted theft, and trying to steal government property. Even though the hard drive was empty, the attempt was still a crime. My parents weren't charged with anything, but they had to hire an expensive lawyer. Jessica's court date was set for 2 months later. I didn't go. I didn't call. I didn't send a letter. I deleted their phone numbers from my phone. I blocked them on social media. I removed them from my emergency contacts at work. In my job, I learned that sometimes you have to cut off the part that keeps hurting you. If a computer has a virus, you don't keep trying to fix it forever. You delete it and move on. That's what I did with my family. For 30 years, every problem they had became my problem. Every mistake they made became my fault. Every time they needed money, I was the ATM machine. But not anymore. 3 months later, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Jessica. She was in jail waiting for her trial. The letter said, "Please help me. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. I'm your sister." I read the letter once. Then I put it through my paper shredder. The truth is, Jessica taught me something valuable. She taught me that some people will take and take and take until there's nothing left of you. And if you let them, they'll blame you for being empty. My parents called me from different phone numbers trying to trick me into answering. When I finally picked up by accident, my dad said, "You're killing this family. How can you be so cold?" I said, "I'm not being cold. I'm being smart. Goodbye." And I hung up. Today, I live in a different city. I have a new apartment that nobody in my family knows about. I changed my phone number. I have new friends who don't take advantage of me. And for the first time in my entire life, I have peace. No midnight calls asking for money. No surprise visits from people who only want something. No more being blamed for other people's bad choices. Jessica ended up taking a plea deal. She got 6 months in jail and 3 years of probation. My parents stopped talking to me completely. And honestly, that was the best gift they ever gave me. Because I learned that family isn't about blood. It's about respect. And if someone doesn't respect you, they don't deserve you. Thanks for watching Flex Revenge unfold. If this story taught you something, hit that like button and subscribe. Drop a comment telling me what you would have done. And remember, sometimes the best revenge is just walking away. See you in the next one.